Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Let's see. Hello, Leonard. Hello, Sammy Tim Gaming. Welcome. Let's see. Leonard, you said, I've enjoyed watching your streams recently. Cool stuff. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I'm having fun doing these streams. I'm having fun collaborating with everyone. And figured why not do it again this morning. I've got the day off work, so might as well get some development done. Okay, so what I want to do today is a couple of things. I want to add a player passive that allows the oil status to interact with the fire status and cause explosions. I think that would be really cool, really fun. And then I probably want to do a different enemy type or something of that nature. Perhaps we could do some other passives and affixes. I really need more gun affix ideas. But let's do this one first. So there's an oil status in the game and there's a fire status in the game now. And we just need to make a passive that allows those two things to interact together. So let's see if we can make that work. So the first thing to do is I need to create a player passive, which we did for Blood Brothers recently. We are back again, TC Sketches. I'm doing great. How are you doing? You're doing the same thing. I'm a software engineer, make games in Godot as a hobby. Awesome. Love to see the Godot adoption. This engine is awesome. Love it. Okay, so let's make a passive here. So I'm going to go to wherever my passives are. I think in here. Yeah, so we need to create a passive definition, so I'm just going to copy and paste from the Blood Golem passive. I'm going to call this one Oil Fire passive definition. I know it's like not a great name. What should we call it? Let's call it well, first of all, we need to rename that. Is it unique? Yes. Get title. We're gonna call it combustion. When oil is applied to a burning enemy. Let's see. Causes explosions when oil is applied to a burning enemy. So that can be our dealing. I'm using 25% a lot. Let's do 10% of the weakest guns of your weakest gun. Dealing 10% of the damage of your weakest gun to enemies. What are we going to say? Causes explosions when oil is applied to a burning enemy, dealing 10% of the damage of your weakest gun. That's fine. We don't need to say anything more than that. Okay, so that's our passive definition. We need to rename this to Oil Fire Passive Definition. Okay, so that's our passive definition. Now, again, the definitions are basically just so that I have some data about the passive before I actually instantiate it as a node. And maybe we'll figure out a way to change this loot table here so that I don't have to manually add it every time. Okay. So let's create the passive node now. And I think I'm going to need to go in here. Blood Golem passive. So I'm just going to duplicate this one. We'll call it Oil Fire passive. Let's open that up. So we've got our oil fire passive now. We're going to need to obviously create a new script for it. So let's remove that script, create a new one. Oil fire passive. This is going to extend. This is going to extend the base player passive type, which just has some initialization code in there. Okay, and so what do we need to do now? Well, what we need to do is, I think the thing that we're going to have to do is connect to probably all the entity hit events. So if I say public override void ready, what we're going to want to do is say, okay, we got these game events dot instance dot, let's see, entity collision game event plus equals on entity collision. And I think, let's see, private void on entity collision. This is going to have an entity collision event. Cool. So this is going to give us every single bullet collision that happens to every single enemy. And then we're just going to need to do some filtering here. So the event comes with an entity, just like that. So we're going to need to grab the status receiver component. Oh, this is event.entity. So get first node of type, status receiver component. Would help if I spelled it right. Okay. Then we're going to say, so if the status receiver is null, then obviously we're going to just say, get out of here, you know? And then we need to check if the status receiver has a couple of statuses. So if status receiver dot has method. And by the way, I actually think I might want to connect to this in a deferred fashion, because I don't think, so if you have a gun that applies both oil and fire, which is possible, that should create explosions immediately on hit. That should create explosions immediately on hit, but I don't think the order might be unpredictable. Or will it? Let me think about this. The entity collision happens before any... I think the entity collision happens before any statuses are applied. So if I go to my hurtbox component, so the entity collision happens first before anything else happens, including the transference of statuses, I believe. So I'm going to want to call this in a deferred fashion. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to say, let's do game events.instance.connect to game events.signalName.entity collision game event, callable.from entity collision event on entity collision. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect that in a deferred fashion. And so what that will do is that will not call this signal connection method until after everything has been processed for that frame. And I think that will pretty much fix the issue of like needing the correct order or needing everything to be available immediately. So now we can check if the oil and fire statuses exist here. So let's see. Has status. Oil status dot scene path. And status receiver has status. Fire status dot scene path. All right, So if we've got both of those things, then it's just a matter of spawning that effect. So what's probably going to happen here is I'm going to say var position is equal to event.entity get first node of type hurtbox component. And the reason we're getting the hurtbox component is because that's generally centered on the enemy, and so we're going to get the position of the hurtbox component here. Otherwise, we'll just say evt.entity.global position. So that's the position that we're going to spawn it at. And then let's do this. Circle explosion manager dot create circle explosion. Okay, so let's see. Position is equal to position. Duration is equal to 0.3. Let's see. Color is equal to new color. What color do we want to use here? Probably just a very similar fire color here. Where is my colors? Here we go. Let's do that. So we'll grab that orange color. I cannot set the damage here, so var explosion equals that. We're gonna set the parent to this dot get main dot foreground, I guess. All right. What else am I missing here? Thickness, radius, duration. We'll do a slightly small radius. Let's do like 24 maybe. Thickness equals 12. Do we need to pass a gun stats over? I don't think so. Since it's just going to do some damage, so I think that's fine. Okay. And then we got to set the explosion damage. And the damage is going to be this dot get player gun manager. Get weakest gun stats dot damage per second, and I'm gonna take this out into a different variable here. Var damage equals this. Then we'll say damage times equals, I think it was 10% that I said. So we're getting the gun stats of the weakest gun, and then multiplying that by 0.1 to get 10% of that damage, and then we can set the damage there. Okay. So that's our passive. So now what I need to do is I need to test something here. So if I go to my worm receiver, let's add an element. Let's add fire to this worm receiver, and let's add oil to this worm receiver. So now I should have the requirements that I need to apply those explosions. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and see if that works. I have to add the oil fire passive to myself. So we're going to say add passive oil fire. There we go. You can see that there's explosions happening now when I hit things. Which is doing quite a lot of damage. I might have to nerf that down to like 5%. 5% of the damage of your weakest gun. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're shooting many bullets, that's going to trigger every time. We can get some tankier enemies in here. You can see that that's happening. That was weird, though. Let's see. Oh, interesting. The hurtbox component for this guy is, like, not centered, so I'm going to center that. And then move those collision shapes down. There we go. Okay, that was throwing me off a bit. So there we go. We've got our little tiny explosion. I think I'm probably going to create another one here. And it's going to be a different color, and it's going to have, this one's not going to have damage. It's just going to be visuals. And we're going to give it a darker color here. Oops, changed the wrong one. Parent, yeah, and then we're going to do a radius of, yeah, we'll keep 24. We'll do a slightly smaller thickness, and then we'll do a delay of 0.05. Okay, let's see how that looks. Sweet. How am I? Mr. First Name Firebelly, Mr. Last Name Games. I'm doing well. How are you doing? The Benjameister. Doing well. So we're just adding some more content here. Really pumping out the content. This is going to be a content-filled morning. I'm going to need to, like, really spend some time playtesting and balancing this game, but build the content first and then worry about that. Fire and oil is OP. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I locked that behind a player passive. Game crashed. Cool, cool, cool. But I think that's basically it. So, yeah, that's the oil fire passive. I'm going to change this real quick. Causes an explosion when oil is applied to a burning enemy. Yeah, so that looks good. This passive is done. That doesn't need to be there. Cool. That algorithm implemented, I've been able to rest. Yeah, nice. I'm polishing it up and then put it on GitHub for the masters to enjoy. Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. Oil, fire, pass. That's really cool. I don't know why it's giving me like a little analyzer error there, but I guess I'll fix that. Okay, so what's the next thing to do? So that's implemented, so let's go ahead and drop that down there. I'm thinking maybe we work on an enemy now. Yes, there is a double space before of, because for some reason, if I only leave a single space after a percent for this font, after a percent symbol for this font, it like doesn't work. So I have to put 2 spaces to make it spaced appropriately. But thank you for pointing that out. So let's see. I have this body slamming zombie here. Yeah, exactly. It's bizarre, Ricardo, but that's just the pixel font I'm using. I think it's probably there's some issue with it. I I haven't yet checked if there's like an updated version of the font that doesn't have that issue. Could be a Godot issue too, I don't know. So this body slamming zombie might be fun to work on. What do y'all think? Should we do a body slamming zombie? I'm kind of worried that because the body slamming zombie was going to go into the what is the word I'm thinking of? The graveyard, but we already have sort of like area explosion. So the body slamming zombie would like jump up in the air and explode onto the ground and cause like an area of effect damage. But we already have mushrooms that do that. And so I'm wondering if instead of doing that for the graveyard, maybe I should come up with a body slamming something else that can be perhaps in the dungeon instead. Could always do it. I mean, you know, maybe it's not a big deal if we do it for the graveyard. Maybe it's not a big deal if we do it for the graveyard. Yeah, let's do that. First public implementation of the algorithm in GDScript for Godot 4. That will certainly be appreciated. Yeah, you should definitely make a video and share it around, share it on Reddit. I'm sure it'll be very, very, very helpful. Hello, Sagleaf. Welcome back. Do you have any bull rush type enemies? Enemies that will lock onto the player and charge until they hit the wall. I have one, the maggot, but I'm probably going to do another slightly different style one. Because yeah, those are nice enemies to have, like more melee-oriented enemies. Okay, so let's work on this body slamming zombie enemy. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to turn out, but we're going to try it. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to create my character body. And then what I like to do if I don't have art yet is I'll just take, well, I'll take a different, let's see, node 2D. We'll take a sprite from here maybe. And, well, let's see. Let's just take a player. Let's just use the player sprite. Why not? So we'll save this in scenes, game object, entity. This is going to be called a what? Body slam zombie. I guess I could just call it zombie. Change the motion mode to floating. Center this just so I can get a good feel for the visuals. Actually, it would be kind of cool to take the player sprite and just turn it into a zombie so they're like the same shape. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I won't do that. Okay, so there's a couple things we need. We need a velocity component. We need a path find component. What is this? Path find component. Facing component. And what else? I think that will be enough to get us started. Yeah, that should be fine to get us started here. Cool. Then I need to add a collision shape 2D. That's what a character body requires. So let's create a new circle shape. Turn that down. Bring it up. We will need a hurtbox component and all that, but I want to work on the behaviors first. Game object.entity. That's where we're going to put it. and then we can get started writing the AI for it. That's the first thing. Okay, so yeah, the bull rush enemy is the first thing you hear. First thing that comes to mind when you hear body slam. Yeah, I can see that. Game looks awesome. Art really inspired a game I'm working on. I'm really happy to hear that. Yeah. Thank you, Cheesem. Thank you, thank you. RKO out of nowhere zombie. Yeah. My friend did something like that in one of his games. It was pretty funny. How did you make the walking animation for the player? It's very simple. It's just, so the player is just this static sprite here. And then this is relatively new, but then I just animated that static sprite just like that. That's it. Very quick, very lazy, but I think it's pretty cool. Works well, is quickly implemented. You just mess with the scale and the rotation a little bit. Make it look like he's hobbling. Could be confusing if they have the same silhouette. Yes, that's probably true, Peter. That is probably true. All right, so let's start work on this behavior. So private void. Not private void. What am I doing? I need this to be a delegate state machine. Okay. So what are we going to do in our ready method? Well, we got to set up our delegate state machine. So I'm actually going to rename this to just state machine. State machine dot add states. And we're going to say state normal. State machine dot add states. State body slam. State machine dot set initial state. State normal. Okay, so let's define all those. Private void state normal. Private void state body slam. So those are our states. Let's override the process method. And then in here, we're going to call state machine dot update. And then we also need to grab a reference to that velocity component. So let's grab that. And then in here, velocity component dot move this. All right, so in the state normal, we want to say our target position is equal to this dot get player dot global position. And we'll fall back to our current global position. We're going to set, we need to grab a reference to a pathfind component. And we're going to say pathfind component dot set target position to target position. Pathfind component dot follow path. And then what are we going to do? I think just to start really simply, that's what we're going to have. Let's create a random timer, which can determine how long until the body slam happens. We'll do a random duration between 1.5 and 2.5 seconds. And let's grab a reference to that as well. Private timer slam timer. Okay, so we want to create another state here called enter state normal, because this is what's going to start our timer. So we're going to say slam timer dot call start random. Okay, and then we need to add that as a state here. Perfect. Okay, and then we'll just check if that slam timer is stopped in our state normal. If so, we're going to say state machine dot change state body slam. Okay. Fun sounding implementation of that slam could be a skeleton that slams the ground like a Mario ground pound. When they do, they break like dry bones and are invulnerable. And they rebuild themselves. That's kind of, yeah, that is a fun idea. The slam is going to have an AoE for sure. So that's kind of where I was going, but the skeleton is interesting. I already have a skeleton enemy for the boss though, so maybe I can implement that kind of thing for another enemy type. Are there any enemies that lifesteal? No, because the way that I have the player configured, or the player health configured, is that it's not like a health bar. It's just like you have 5 hits, right? And so it's like you start off the game with three hits. You can only get hit 3 times. It doesn't matter what you get hit by. The enemy damage always deals 1 damage, and you have 3 health, but then you can collect more health. And so lifesteal wouldn't really make sense because you're not really getting hit that often either, or you're not really getting hit that often anyway. So a lifesteal wouldn't really make much of an impact with the way that the game is made currently. Yes, so that's, yeah. It's an interesting idea, though. If the game was structured a little bit differently, it'd probably be looking to do something like that. Okay. So, yeah, let's get the state body slam in order. So private void enter state body slam. And then let's put that as a state here. So when we enter the state body slam, what we're going to do is I need to copy the parabolic motion from the artillery bullet. And I have to figure out, I think I can, actually, I wonder if I can just use this artillery bullet component. I could either use this artillery bullet component, or I could extract this out further into like a parabolic motion component. Do I even want to do that? Do I want to do that? Seems like a lot of, all right, so I think I'll just copy and paste this for now. But if I end up using parabolic motion again in a different context, I'll probably extract this out into a common component. Okay, we're just gonna paste everything in there. Don't ask me what any of this does. I got it right and then never touched it again, and I don't know what any of this does. Parabolic motion is somewhat confusing. Mixing the bull rush and slam idea, a zombie that chases after you, but if it misses, it trips and makes a body slam AoE. That's funny. That's really funny, yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to make some more things in this game goofy, like the Blood Brothers passive. I want to do like a weird mix of goofy and serious, and that sounds like something that would be perfect, like a little goofy thing. Lifesteal for players is hard to balance and usually either broken or necessary or completely useless. Yeah, in a lot of games that is the case. In a lot of games that is the case. I think it's probably better in roguelikes. Like you can, because the nice thing about roguelikes, at least from like, I think from a game design perspective, is that you don't have to be afraid of something being OP or a certain combination of things being OP. And in fact, you might want that in a lot of cases, because by the nature of the game being a roguelike, there's no guarantee that you're even going to be able to get that combination every run, right? And so, yeah, you could get something that's stupid broken like lifesteal or something, and then like win the run, but then it's like it may not happen again for the next 20 runs, right? So I think you can get away with things being a little bit OP in roguelikes because of the nature of them being uncommon. Do the guns have procedural animations? They're not procedural. They just all have the same recoil animation. Hello, Felipe. Felipe. Do you guys know if I should opt for onReady variables to fetch my node references versus the dollar notation? Just imagine a process function with some... If you're going to use a node every single frame, you should use an onReady. But if fetching the node is infrequent, then the $ notation is perfectly fine. It all depends on the frequency, right? Like, you don't want to be doing a get node call every single frame for the same node. You can use an onReady variable for that. But if you just need to reference it one time in one function that's called, like, not often, then you can use the shorthand notation and just get the node at that moment. I think that's how I'd approach it. In C#, I'm just kind of like getting all of the nodes all at once onReady, because that just ends up being easier than writing like a get node monstrosity here, you know? Okay, so enter state body slam. So how much time do we want him to be in the air? Maybe 2 seconds. So my destination. So I need to say slam destination is equal to this dot get player dot global position. We'll set the time to 2. The range, so would be my current position. So this would be my slam destination X minus my global position dot X. My Y final is going to be my slam destination, and my Y initial is going to be my global position. And then I need some gravity here. Maybe we'll make it 400. Velocity equals initial velocity. So I think what I need to do in here is say velocity component equals initial velocity. The interesting thing is I'm going to need to disable the collision shape as well. So we're going to set this velocity, or can I just do this? There we go. So we're going to set the velocity component's velocity to initial velocity. While we're in the state body slam, we want to say velocity component dot velocity dot y plus equals gravity times get process delta time. Okay. Can I not set this? Cannot modify the return type. Okay. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go in here, and I'm just going to create a new method in here called apply gravity. Gravity times float, get process, delta time. And it doesn't like that, so we'll say wonder why it doesn't let me set that velocity. Cannot modify the return value of velocity component.velocity because it is not a variable. I guess because it's a property. Oh well, we'll just create a new one. Cool. So there's our apply gravity method. So in here, I'm just going to call apply gravity. Perfect. Okay. And then what am I going to do? Are you planning on having a story for the game, kind of like how Risk of Rain 2 does it? I'm not familiar with Risk of Rain 2. I want to include a very light story, but it's not going to be... It's probably not going to be story heavy where you're like talking to NPCs and stuff. It's probably just going to be like a loose reason why you're doing what you're doing. That's probably how it'd go, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, I think this should basically be working. I might just run this and see if this is going to work. Okay. Something's going to break, I'm sure, but that's what testing is for, am I right? Spawn zombie. Okay, that didn't work. Slam destination minus global position.x. Y final, Y initial. What did I do wrong here? Something is wrong. Y initial. Huh. Slam destination. Hello, Matness. Welcome back. Will there be smaller minigames to earn gold? Yeah, there will be some events that will grant you gold. And some of those will probably take the form of mini games, like, I don't know, like a slot machine or something. That'd be fun. I always like encountering like those slot machines and roguelikes where you can just kind of throw money at it and see what happens. So I think the problem is probably that... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, because I did this wrong. Did I do this wrong? So we're taking that velocity, we're applying the gravity. It's adding gravity times float process delta time. That's good. Huh. Let's print this initial velocity. Something's funky here. Okay, so it printed the initial velocity as being negative 400, which seems right, at least a little bit. What happens if I turn down the gravity? Yeah, something's wrong. I think probably as a matter of moving this thing. I think there's something wrong in here. So this was doing exactly the same thing that I'm doing in the velocity component, apply gravity, so I think that's fine. Rotation, velocity, global position. This should all be good, so let's see. I don't know. Might have to just write the movement code myself instead of relying on the character body 2D to do it. We will see. Initial velocity, yeah, I don't understand. It must be something weird with how the velocity component is working. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because of... It might be because of this path follow stuff. Let's see. Because there's this velocity computed happening here. And I'm wondering if that's overriding the velocity. It probably is. So let me, I'm just going to remove that path follow stuff. And then we'll see how it looks. Does Godot C# have a decent debugger? It does in Godot 3. I haven't got it set up in Godot 4 yet. But yeah, it's like you can set breakpoints and everything. Okay, so that is definitely working. So I think the problem is that I need to disable velocity, the velocity computed signal in this pathfind component here. Okay, so on velocity computed, let's just bool computed velocity disabled equals false. I guess we don't need to do that. If computed velocity disabled, return. So that should fix it. And then I just need to, in my enter state body slam, I need to say velocity component dot computed velocity, oh no, pathfind component. Come on. Give me my IntelliSense, thank you. Equals true. And then in here, wow, OmniSharp is having a really tough time here. False. So we're going to disable that so it doesn't override the velocity. And now everything should be good. So let's go ahead and take a look. So let's spawn that zombie. Boom! Body slam. Nice. Okay. Let's put the pathfind stuff back. Look at that. Boom! Body slam. Okay. So that's a little bit of what we're trying to do. I'm gonna add a timer here. Do I want to do that? Yeah. Slam duration timer. 2 seconds. So the slam duration timer is basically just going to be used to exit that to determine when the parabola is done, when the motion is done. Okay. Oh, this needs to be a float now. Float. Float. Okay, and then in here in our state body slam, if slam duration timer, if it's stopped, we're gonna switch back to that state normal. Perfect. So this is being applied. So the other thing that we need to do is we need to create like a telegraph when that happens. So let's go ahead and add a resource preloader. Telegraph circle. Okay, let's create that telegraph circle then. And I actually don't... Oh, I just got to set the radius of it. Cool, I can do that. Is this telegraph circle? Let's see. Okay, yeah, there is an animation player in here. Perfect. Excellent. So I should just be able to add this telegraph circle to this.getMain .telegraph add child telegraph circle. And then we need to set the radius and the position. Is this zombie going to be a brute type of zombie? He is body slamming, so whatever. We can make him brutish. He's basically just going to be launching himself into the air and doing like WWE elbows, you know. Is there advantages to using C# other than speed? Yeah, I mean, I don't even use C# for the speed. I use C# because I feel like I can construct cleaner code, and the type system is a lot more sophisticated than Godot's. And so I just like being able to use C# for structure purposes and for compile time errors and all that stuff. And then there is another advantage, which is you can use NuGet packages in C#, and there's quite a bit of those, so. That's awesome. Yeah, I hope so. We're going to see how the zombie turns out when I do the art. We'll see what shenanigans we get up to when we make him. So what kind of radius should we give this guy? Maybe like a 48. We'll see how that looks. Give him like a really wide area. And then I need to, do I need to destroy this? I'm gonna need to figure out, I think I need to figure out how to delete the telegraph circle when it's done. Oh, okay, I could do something like, okay. So basically I'll just need this telegraph circle to die after a certain amount of time. So what I can do is I can say get tree dot create timer time dot connect scene tree timer dot signal name dot timeout. callable dot from telegraph circle dot queue free. Can I do that? So basically just have a lambda function that will free the circle after this amount of time. I think that'll work. I think that will work. All right, let's see if that does anything. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can use NuGet packages. A wrestler zombie. Ooh, a luchador. Yeah, I guess we have to do that. So much wrestling. We got Hulk Hogan, little blobs. Elbow slamming zombies. There we go. So there's the slam. He's going really high up into the air. Bam! Obviously, we're going to make that one to make that very impactful. I'm actually going to increase that radius because I think putting a lot of area denial on the player is going to be a pretty fun thing to do. Any tips for fixing glitchy lighting in Godot? I barely put any lights in the scene, but it still causes some wacky looking effects. Are you on Godot 4? If you're on Godot 4, then my tip would be wait for them to fix it. That's what I'm doing. If it really is unbearable, then just, I think the only thing to do is to stop using lights. We'll make the duration, the amount of time that he's in the air, we'll make that shorter as well. Which I can control from here. Slam duration timer. We'll turn it to 1.5 seconds. Because we don't want it to be super easy to dodge, right? We want to put some pressure on the player. Bam! Cool. I want to try something too. Change the width of the telegraph line. Yeah, that looks chunkier. And the other thing that I want to try in here real quick is I wanted to change the color that it oscillates between to perhaps white, just to give it more of a stark contrast. I know this is kind of unrelated to what I'm doing, but might as well address it while I'm here. Yeah, I think that looks a lot more apparent. Boom. Okay. Now with that detour out of the way, let's continue with our zombie. Less time would be more frenetic. Yes. Are there any recommended resources on using C# with Godot? I think the docs, the official docs, are pretty good. There's some resources that are pretty good online. I just like search YouTube. I don't think you're going to find like a really comprehensive source on C# and Godot, but it's like once you piece together like from the docs and from YouTube videos, it just kind of like all fits together and makes sense. It's just basically like you're writing C# using the Godot APIs for interaction with the engine. It's not not super radical, you know? Yeah, so like everywhere you go in the Godot docs, they typically have code snippets both in GDScript and in C#. So they show you how to do a lot of the stuff in the docs both ways. How do you create the shockwave effects? A shader? It is a shader, yeah. Yeah, so this here. It's just a shader that has a progress value. And then I can tween that progress value over however long of a time period that I want. It's pretty simple. Works pretty well. All right, what am I doing? Is it a pain setting up the linker and libraries for VS Code? I didn't need to do any setup. Just install the C# extension and .NET 6, and that's it. It just works. So we need to do a couple more things here. Obviously, we got a lot to do with this guy. We can create our damaging area. I also want to remove or disable this collision shape. So let's grab that. So we got our collision shape. When we enter that state body slam, we're going to disable the collision shape. And then when we enter state normal, honestly, it should just be exit state body slam. We'll re-enable that computed velocity, and then we'll also re-enable the collision shape. Okay, so that's done. We need to spawn a damaging area. So in here, we need to, what do I need to do? Circle explosion manager. We're going to create a circle explosion. Wonder why I didn't put damage in here. Yeah, I'm gonna put damage in there and just see, let's see. So we'll calculate the damage here. Okay, that makes more sense. Now I don't need to manually set that. I can just do it as part of the construction of the object. Okay, so color, we're gonna want to use this red as our little color here. Nice, thanks, you're welcome. Stefan, welcome to the stream. Finally able to catch you live, awesome. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. I'm gonna store the slam destination in a variable at the class level here. And I'm gonna set it here, and the reason is because then I can have the exact position where the circle is supposed to end up, and I can also set my global position to slam destination, so it'll always end up right in the slam middle. Okay. So duration 0.5 maybe. Now this is going to be tricky. I think I might have to change how my circle explosion works. We'll see. The radius is radius. Thickness, let's do 32 and see what that looks like. Okay. Now, let's go in and see if that works. So we'll turn down the thickness a little bit. How often do you play through the game just because? Not often lately because it crashes very often in Godot 4, which is unfortunate. But I used to all the time in Godot 3. So I think that's fine, the way that that's working. One thing that I want to do real quick is I want to check this. Okay. So yeah, there could be a problem in the future where if I want a slower moving, like screen covering explosion outward, I'm going to have to make the collision incremental, because right now the collision happens instantaneously upon the thing being created. And so that works in this case because it's not quite big enough yet, but it probably is going to be a problem in the future. So I don't think I need to worry about that now. Okay, so that's looking good. We just need to configure this now. And we've got the collision area configured, and now it should damage me, and I'm actually going to go and turn off debug mode for the player so I can actually take damage. There we go, it damaged me. Also got an issue. Let's see, what's the issue? Shapecast 2D. What does it think is wrong? Signal changed is already connected to the given callable. What? Changed is already... Oh, I wish I could read this whole thing. We can try this. Let's see. Changed is already connected to given callable. Redraw shape. Interesting. Zombie CS 116. I do not know what's going on there. I'm not sure if you're planning to make changes on this, but the arc of the body slam does not read really as a jump. Just looks like a strange way of walking. Yeah, it's not finished yet. There's lots of work to do still. It's just placeholder at the moment. Maybe an increasing shadow will make it look like he's jumping. It will look like he's jumping when I've done some of the art and some of the animations. So do not fear. Although the shadow is going to be a problem. The shadow is going to be a problem. We'll figure that out later. That's the motto. Figure it out later. I don't know why these errors are happening. Yeah, that error, I don't think that error has anything to do with me. But why doesn't it happen on every other circle explosion happening. Maybe it does. Let me spawn a mushroom. Mushroom works fine. If I get rid of that configure collision area, does that work? We're gonna see. Yeah, I don't know why that's happening. Let's see if it happens when I have that configure collision area removed. Okay. Yeah, so that's weird. So for some reason, configure collision area does not work correctly. Interesting. What happens if I remove this stuff? Arcs, yeah, arcs are a lot of effort for sure. My solution is honestly probably going to be don't do a shadow and try to just communicate with the animations what's going on. But we're going to have to see how it looks, and if it doesn't look good, then we're going to have to fix that. Okay, so there's something about this line here that's not... That's not working. Create circle explosion, configure collision area. I gotta figure out where this is actually calling burst, which is the function that does the damage. Perhaps it's the start that's being a problem. If I remove that start and then I say configure it and then start it. Oops, what happened? Oh. I just want to see if this will stop the error from happening. If so, then I've got a problem with like my order of operations here. So let's create that zombie, see what happens. Nope, it's still broke. That's weird. Signal changed is already connected to given callable. Okay, well, I have no clue what's going on here. It seems to only be a problem when I set the damage. If I set no damage, or if I don't call configure collision area, then it does an error. Huh, well, I might have to figure this out later, because I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on. That's weird. Well, I guess I'll just fix it later. Hello, Code Red. You're the first person I've seen that fully uses Godot C#. Well, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know why it's not more popular. I don't know. Okay, well, let's ignore that issue for now, and let's just continue on with the zombie. So let's So we've got our player here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this. We're gonna save this as a new entity type, zombie. Cool, and the reason why I saved that is because now I can have a player for scale, and so now we can create a big zombie. All right, let's figure out what we want to do here. So I can make like a big hulking zombie or something. Oh man, this is gonna be a lot of a lot of effort. Let's get the rough shape in place first. Like a little hunchback zombie. Okay. That can work. Little T-Rex arms. I know this looks terrible right now, but I'm just trying to get a feel for like what he should look like. Okay, I don't care. Go away. Get the error out of my face. Little chicken leg arms. Could also make this guy a giant chicken. Now that I'm thinking about that. When jumping, the shadow could be locked in a global Y position. Well, the problem is that won't work if he's jumping down, right? The Y position has to move. If you lock it in a global Y, he can only move exactly left or exactly right. So that wouldn't work. You could lock the distance, maybe. No, actually, you wouldn't want to do that either. Two-headed hunchback zombie. That's an interesting idea. Turtle zombie. Turtle zombie idea. That is an interesting idea. Didn't know Brotato was made in Godot. Yeah, it's like one of the biggest Godot games, actually, which is awesome. Yeah, Brotato. I only hope that this game gets as much as many purchases and downloads as Brotato. That game's fun. Very highly rated too. So turtle zombie, huh? Yeah, turtle zombie. Turtle zombie. Okay. We're getting there. Okay. Well, we'll worry about the mouth and whatnot later. Okay. It looks a little thick up here, so maybe we'll just trim that down. Actually, maybe that's okay. Maybe it's just the inside that needs to change a little bit. Yeah, I think I just need to move like this stuff over a little bit. Turtle zombie. Oh, that's creepy. Wow. Okay. We're getting there. Shadow can be interpolated in a linear trajectory too. That's true. Yeah, yeah. What's up, Trublub? Welcome to the stream. He can spin a shell and bounce around the screen. That's an interesting idea. Slam could be a shell slam. You guys trying to create more work for me? Gee dang. No, those are really cool ideas. I might have to do that. I might have to do that. This is a sprite. Haristo. This is a sprite. Highly recommend for pixel art. Maybe move his arm in the one on the right. Turtle chicken zombie. When he hits walls, he could blast bullets in all directions. That is an interesting idea, Code Red. I don't think I will do that for this enemy, but blasting bullets in all directions when hitting walls is definitely an idea that I want to implement. So let me write that down. Enemy that blasts bullets when hitting walls. Okay, so that's written down, so that is now immortalized. So move the arm like that. Yeah, I think that looks good. I think that looks good. All right, let's see. I think these need to be chonkier. Turtle have like kind of like elephant feet, right? Or they're kind of like a little bit wide or something. I might move this leg in as well. Wait, is he a turtle or is he a tortoise? That's going to be a very important question to answer. Okay. Let's see if we can make something happen here. So now I'm just going to put in some rough colors here before I decide on like the final colors. Just trying to get a feel for like what is, you know, what is the shell actually going to look like here. There we go. That's looking all right. The difference single pixels can make. Honestly, that should actually probably just go over to that side. Ah, that looks fine. What is the program I use for keeping track on what I need to do? That is Obsidian MD with the Obsidian Kanban community plugin. It's basically a markdown editor, but some clever guy figured out how to make it into a Kanban board using markdown files. It's pretty cool. Obsidian Kanban community plugin. You're a game dev too? Love dev streams. Awesome, Code Red. Yeah, they're fun to hang around with. I like throwing on a dev stream every once in a while, especially when I'm working by myself. It helps to have a dev stream like I'm doing game dev with a buddy, even though I've never met the person in my life and I'm just creeping, you know? I'm kidding. Tortoise technically, but turtle sounds better. Yeah, I agree. Rot turtle. We'll call it a rot turtle. Obsidian is an app, correct? Yeah. Obsidian MD. I'm trying ClickUp. Is that another management tool? There's a bunch out there, but the reason I picked Obsidian MD is because it writes all of your data to markdown files locally. And so I have that configured with like a whole backup system. And it's just like, you know, I'm not at risk of losing my notes because they're, you know, in the custody of another company, you know. Cool. Yeah, there's lots of options. Notion is a popular one as well. Trello obviously is a popular one. All right, so back to this guy. These colors are looking kind of off. So let's play around with this some more. I'm just gonna find colors now that look good. And we're gonna go from there. So this is saying that a complementary color is like a purple. We can give that a try. Do you want to give him like some kind of a different colored shell? This is going to be difficult. When the art gets bigger, it gets more difficult for me because then it's like, oh, there's a lot more to pay attention to. I probably just want it to be like a dark green up here. Not too dark though. What happens if I change the whole underside to this color? Okay, I like how that looks. And then maybe... So let's do this first. Do that. That was not the color I picked. It was this one. And then perhaps we can do like stripes across. That could work. Like little shell ridges or something. I don't know, man. You're witnessing me figure out what I'm doing with my life. All right. I think that's fine. Okay. This color needs to be different. Make it darker so there's more contrast. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe I'll find a different color for the body parts. I might reverse these. So if I do that, oops. Let's make that a really annoying pink for a second. This one too. So we do that, and then... Is that better? I think that might be better. I think that might be better. Yeah, maybe. It's getting there. Kind of like the dark purple shell. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll go back to that. Been watching your devlogs for a while and love your vision for gun game. Art style is very unique. Thank you. I appreciate that. Tetakshi? I think I got it right. Tetakshi. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Glad to hear it. Yeah, this is the art. So if you do like my art, just know that all of it goes through this process where it starts really ugly and I just have to work until it gets to a respectable place. Let's see. Gun game had rats. True. Could try for a smaller turtle breed like a needle-nosed turtle. That's an interesting idea. Hello, Merlin. I had a question about your game structure. In my game, I instantiate weapons if I pick them, but the way the weapon stats will reset if you pick a new weapon. How do you handle weapon stats? So the weapon stats they're done with resources. So it starts with a base resource here, like a barrel resource, and that defines a certain number of stats here. And you can define your stats in here, but if you're randomizing your parts, what you can do then is you can randomize the stats on the resource and then just hold a reference to the resource. So there's a common pattern in software engineering and just programming generally, which is to separate your data from your logic. And so the way that you should think about it is that your weapons should essentially just be logic containers, right? Your weapons should be receiving their stats and their data from an external source, and then the weapon code should just be operating on that external data source, right? And if you design it that way, then it becomes really easy to pass the data around in the code because you're not working with like game objects, right? You're actually working with structured data. And so you can store that in a dictionary, you can keep it in memory, you can do whatever. And then when you create a gun, you can just insert those stats into the gun and say, here's the stats object that I want you to use. And then, or whatever weapon that you have. And you may need to abstract that a little bit more, right? You may need to have like a base weapons stats object, and then you might need to split that out into like melee weapon stats and ranged weapon stats. But generally, the way you want to think about it is like separate your data from your logic. And that's going to make your life a lot easier, I think. All right, back to the toidle. So the dark purple shell. Forgot what color it was. It's like the purple there. Something like that. I think I can make that work. Yeah, let's make that work. And then I can potentially just do like lighter spots or something. Might not be contrasty enough. We'll figure it out. Maybe something like that. What do turtle faces look like? Okay, well, we'll just get just a little tiny little mouth there. This thing is supposed to be like a zombie turtle, so we're gonna have to figure out how to make that look all right. Me thinks that doesn't look that great. I guess I could just use a darker green here. Well, that looks fine. I do think I can... Maybe I can get away with using a purple here. No, I don't think I can. It should be fine. This is being difficult. So what I'm going to do is... This is going to be easier to see if I do an outline here. Be easier to see kind of like what it's going to look like actually. Okay. So obviously that eye needs to change. It needs to be darker. Or not darker, it needs to be a different color than the black. And we're going to make him a mean turtle if we can. There we go. Nice. Getting there. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like explaining. I'm a software engineer. I nerd out over over concepts of architecture and code design. So yeah, always happy to help with that kind of stuff. It was near black, like obsidian color. Oh, for the shell. For a zombie effect, you can make it more slimy. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I can do that. Turtle looks more and more like a cartoon character from the 90s. Yeah. Yeah. Green slime, maybe dark purple. It's got obsidian, looks kind of like VS Code. Yeah, it's got like that similar dark theme. Rotten looking flesh, darker than the skin with the lighter rim to show the edge of his flesh, maybe reddish bits. Shift O for outlines. Oh, dang. That's new to me. All right, very cool. Thank you for the tip. Unfortunately, I've already outlined some, so I think I'm stuck just doing it manually for now. So, let's see. Okay. Yeah, we need like some rotten flesh or something. I just don't know how I'm gonna do that exactly. I'll kind of give him like a... Oh, I kind of like that actually. That makes him look wrinkled. Okay, well, lots to figure out for sure. This is just a bigger piece of art. And so I just need to play with it for a little bit, get it working. All right, that's getting there. And what I probably want to do is I probably want to give this an outline as well. Something like that. We'll tweak the colors a little bit when we get to that stage. I'm thinking maybe the green flesh just isn't working. You know? I'm thinking just maybe the green flesh ain't working. All right, let's see. Red veins is a cool touch. Okay, awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll keep the red veins. Let's see. What makes your stream so fun to watch? Gun game is awesome, and also I'm always learning new stuff. Excellent. Can't ask for more than that. I'm glad to hear that. Red eye made it way better. Awesome. Awesome. Are you sticking to a color palette? How many colors are you using? Yes, I'm using 64 colors from a palette called Resurrect 64, which is on lowspec.com. So I'm limiting myself to 64. So if you're wondering why I'm making weird color decisions, it's because I don't have that many colors to make decisions with, right? So let's see. Do you use a combination of frame-by-frame animations and squash and stretch? No, I'm not doing any frame-by-frame animations in this game. It's all either procedural or like defined with squash and stretch with an animation player. Reddish pink turtle instead. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I was thinking zombie turtle, you know, like would be green, but so far I'm not really getting I'm not getting across the fact that this is a zombie, right? Like I don't think anyone would look at this turtle and be like, "Oh, it's a zombie." People are probably just gonna be like, "Oh, it's just an angry turtle." I think that color looks better. Maybe not. I think the belly needs to be just like light. I think the belly needs to be light, but then I need to figure out like what I should do in the middle here. Like, do I do yellow? Or maybe if I can knock it down to like this kind of a shade and then do the majority of it light. Like that. I think that looks all right. Kind of makes it look like the shell is a little bit scaly, right? Wonder what happens if I bring the shell up this way. Does that look better? Ooh, that does look better, doesn't it? So I bring the shell up around the neck there. And then I think this part needs to go. Sorry, I just gotta fix this little piece right here, I think. Yeah, I think that looks better. I hope. Let's see. I'm not the target group of players who want to play a gun game, to be honest, but I really like the way you're developing the game, and that's what's keeping me watching your content. Awesome. Yeah, no worries. I mean, yeah, gun game is not going to be for everyone for sure, but as long as you're enjoying my content, that's awesome. Yeah, I appreciate each and every bit of everything that you guys do, watching the content, buying the games, whatever. It's all very much appreciated, so glad to have you all here. To make him look more undead, try adding some exposed bones or withered missing skin. Yeah. The green looks too turtly and not enough zombie. I agree. Do I have a Steam page? I do. I guess I should... I haven't like officially started like marketing the game yet, because I still want to do like a big announcement video that's like a big dev vlog, you know? But you guys can all check it out here. And I'll pin the message. And a damaged shell. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Good, all good suggestions for how to do this. So let's check it out. But yeah, let me show you the so here's the Steam page. The game is called Gunforged and got some dope art. And yeah, so if you're interested, go wishlist it. Even if you're not interested, wishlisting it might help me. So if you want to just throw a wish list, even if you don't intend to purchase it, that would be awesome too. What's Gunforged? That's the name of the game. Love that cover art. Awesome. Yeah, I love it too. It's so cool. It matches the style of the game perfectly. Just love it. Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate it. How much does the cover art cost? It's not too expensive. I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty details, but I will say the art and the logo altogether was between $0 and $500. So it's not like super expensive, but you do need to have like a couple $100s in your budget at least to purchase that kind of stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, back to the zombie turtle. So I wonder, just making the skin more sickly looking. How's this for a color? Is this looking any better? A little bit more sickly looking. Ooh, that might be a good color too. Well, maybe not. Sick yellow could work. Yeah. Thank you, Madness. Save this one as a healthy turtle first. No, the turtle's gonna be sickly. I don't want no healthy turtles in my game. Maybe you could drop a blood trail while walking. Definitely better. Okay, so let's go ahead and just keep on implementing this color then. A little bit more sickly looking, right? Actually, I probably want to do that. Yeah. Do that color. Oh, I didn't give shading down here either. So I could probably just... Yeah, that looks cool. Is that shading too dark? Does this need to be like... that color? I think so. Well, I guess either one could work. Yeah, I probably want to do this color instead. Yep, okay. That looks better. What am I doing? What am I doing? That might be too bright of a color right there. I want to add like a little highlight there, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to find a color that can make me do it. Ooh, what's this? That's kind of a cool little sickly color there. Oh yeah, that's cool. I think maybe these are too dark now. Yeah, I think the feet are too dark now, so let's see. We'll figure it out. There's only a limited number of colors, so I only got so many options here. Cool. Let's just finish this up. Replacing all those colors. I wonder if that should be that color. Need a different color for that. Interesting. Okay. Patches of greens and or yellows. The arms, legs, body need to be more discolorment. Kind of looks like Frankenstein turtle. Yeah, there we go. Multiple parts from other turtles. Stitches around his neck and limb joints. Okay, yeah. All interesting ideas. Still gotta add detail. I'm gonna figure out the colors for now. And then add the detail. Gee dang it. Okay. Getting there. Haha. Interesting. We're inching there. We're inching. I'm gonna increase the contrast of this shell right here. There's still something not quite right here. Even without the details. Let's see. Stitchers. Oh, I already read that one. That looks way better. Awesome, awesome. How do I make Obsidian look like Trello? You need to download the Obsidian community, or the Obsidian Kanban community plugin. Skin around the eye should be darker to contrast with the bright red eye. Yeah, I tried doing that. Oh, maybe that level of darkness then? There we go. How's that? I don't really like... Purple's not going to work there, is it? What am I doing? How do I fill? Did I forget how to use the fill tool? G, thank you. Too dark. Still too dark. Yeah, I'm not so sold on that shading color there. Ooh, maybe that. Maybe like a darker purple here. I think that's a little bit better. I think that's a little bit better, maybe. Or maybe I should just use this same ugly looking yellow green everywhere. It definitely needs to be darker in this case. Okay, maybe. All right, see you later, Cheesem. Looks a little mismatched with the shadows being dark bluish on one side and yellowy on the other. Yeah, that's true. Kind of looks like just a turtle. Yeah, we're not done with, we got to do the details still. Do you scale up the sprites in your game, or do you use a small resolution size overall so that everything scales up automatically? Yeah, I use a small canvas size, and then everything just scales from that. All right, let's see if we can make him look like more of a zombie. I don't know about this inside color either. Okay, maybe something like that. That's like too rich. Yeah. I think that looks better because it matches with the purple a little bit more. If we're keeping the purple. All right, let's see if we can make it look like an actual zombie here. The question is, how am I going to do that? So there's discolored patches of skin as an idea. So if we make like a chunk right here. We need a chunk, and then we need to make it look like bones. I guess that's fine. Would it help to outline it a little bit? Oh, maybe. So there's one chunk there. Maybe what we can do is... trying to create like a bone here. Okay. Maybe the bone is a little bit too long. I should have done this on another layer. I should have done this on another layer. Okay. Something like that, perhaps? Could try giving him a green glow. Interesting. Make him bleed green. Yeah, could do that. Could do that. Okay, that looks a little bit more natural here. Maybe if I can use a different bone color. All right. Looks all right, I think, anyway. Yeah, why not? Is he looking like a zombie yet? Bone looks good. Awesome, awesome. Maybe enemies can steal your gold. That is an interesting idea, yeah. I'll have to think about that one a little bit more. Yellow slime on the ground when he walks. Could do something like that. Yeah, we'll see. We're going to see how he looks in game, and then we can make any adjustments as necessary. I think I need a different color for these limbs. Nope. I don't really have a good option for those. I could just make them the same color, but I think it looks better when they're darker. Whatever, YOLO, we'll leave it like that. All right, what kind of crazy hair do we need to give this guy? I know turtles don't have hair, but... Maybe we don't give him hair. Somebody said moss or something. Question is, can I do moss? See if this moss looks any good. It looks okay. Maybe I just need to make the moss darker. Now it looks like he kind of crawled out of a grave, right? Shell became spiky. Yeah, I got a little, I don't know if you can tell it's moss or whatever. It kind of looks like dirt or vines or something. I don't know. Wish I had a darker red. I don't really have any other red colors. Oops. I don't know if I can get away with that. Almost deteriorated. Awesome. Yeah, you like that? A hard hat. Hard hat, maybe. Actually, maybe hard hat for something else. Okay, I'm going to get rid of... I don't think that that looks good. What else can I do to make him look undead? I mean, he looks rough as it is. Maybe there's not much more to do. Oops. Oh, no. Does that look better? Change the color of his underbelly a little bit. His grave attached to his shell. Oh, interesting. So like, oops, that's not right. Now we're just going into supreme detail here. Haha. I don't know, does that look like a gravestone shell? That is kind of cool. I don't know, what do you all think? Should I leave it? Is it too much? Let's see. What is everyone? Grave looks awesome. Can't deny he's dead now. Yep, I think you guys are right. I think we got to keep that. Thank you for the suggestion. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. All right. Should we do something goofy now to him, or should we keep it? Sword stick on his back. That would have been a cool one too. I think the grave does a good job of communicating his status as dead. All right, I think I could spend all day working on this, but I think maybe with a little bit more detail in some of these places. I think he's basically ready. I don't know, the head's still kind of weird to me. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the head. I might have to work on that a little bit more. Maybe the mouth just needs to be darker. Yeah, I gotta figure out what to do with this. Oops. Was I editing on the wrong layer? It's okay. All right, well, maybe we can, yeah, maybe we can bring him into game and see how it looks. What kind of attacks will he do? He will do, like a body slam attack. So he's going to jump in the air and land. And I may need to do, I mean, we'll see, but I might need to do, a different sprite for the attack, but we're gonna see. Oops. Sweet. All right, let's get rid of this guy. Get out of here. Center him in the image there. Cool. Now I'm just really curious to see what he looks like in game as is. He's pretty small actually compared to the player. Oh wait, where do I gotta put this guy? Put him right there, I guess. Oh, that's a good size. Yeah, that's fine. He's man-sized turtle. All right. Oh, I drew him the wrong direction too. That's okay. All right. Give me a couple minutes. I gotta take a quick break and then we'll be back to implement this into the game. All right, so be right back real quick. All right, I'm back. I assume by his build he'll be pretty tanky. Yes, that is probably the case. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean probably, I mean, yes, it will be the case. All right, let's see. I'm just curious to see now, like with just the visuals changed, how this is going to look in here. Bam! So, one tricksy thing. One tricksy thing. I might have to change how this works. But that's basically the idea. I'm going to turn the gravity up because I think that's going to create a more impactful attack. So let's see. Boom, boom! Haha, that's pretty cool. Obviously lots of work to do. I should make them lead the player too. Instead of going to the player position, they should predict where the player is going. Because right now you can just move in a straight line and avoid them. So there's a couple of interesting things to do. Let me commit what I have first, because I'm paranoid that my computer is just going to explode, spontaneously combust, and I'm going to lose all of my hard work, and then I'm going to be sad and driven into a major depression where I can't finish the game. So we're going to avoid that by committing. So, initial zombie work. Okay. We still got that error happening that I don't understand how to fix, but we're gonna... we're gonna do this. All right, so let's start with some animation. And so, if whoever was in the chat that asked about how I did the animations, if you're still here, this is a good opportunity to see how I'm doing it. And it is lazy, but lazy doesn't mean that it can't be good, right? I mean, you think about Kraft mac and cheese, that's a pretty lazy meal, right? It takes like 3 minutes to prepare, but man, is it delicious. So, same deal with this. I'm being lazy with my animations, but they still look okay, and it saves me a bunch of time, which means I can add more content to the game and or publish the game earlier. And so that's really important. So I have to be careful here. I think I'm going to have to... this is going to be difficult. I have an idea. But before well, I can start the animation now. Shouldn't be a problem. I have an idea for the jump offset and the shadow and fixing all that stuff. I think I can do it. But let's do this first. So for the animation, or for the sprite 2D, what I like to do is, what am I doing? Oh, so I got to set up a position and rotation and scale. Those are the three things that I change, and then create like a walk cycle of like 0.5 seconds or something like that. Zoom in a little bit. Only 2 hours in, I'm early, just woke up. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the stream as well. All right, so we got our zombie turtle. Teenage mutant zombie turtles. And let me try something. So position, make it go up 3. And then back down. To 0. Let's wrap this actually. Something like that. And then rotation, I typically use -10. +10. So that's kind of how I typically approach like these little animations. It's very simple. But I think I want to try to give this, you can still give these things personality is what I'm finding, just with the way you animate them and the timings and stuff. And so I want to see if I can make this look more like a hobbling or a scooting or something. Is it possible to save one animation and copy it to new enemies? It is technically possible. I don't do that because the node structure is different. I may want to tweak like one parameter in the animation track. And it's just like, in my experience, sharing animation player animations between multiple different enemies and entities is really, really like more of a pain than just recreating it with your hand, you know, by hand. And maybe I'm doing the animations wrong, but I find that my node structures are different a lot of times between different entities, and it's just like, you know, ends up being really difficult to actually share animations. I tried to solve that with procedural animations, so I would just have a component that takes a bunch of parameters and then would animate the thing in real time according to those parameters. But I actually removed that because it was more complicated as well than just like doing these simple little cutout animations by hand. So I tried to speed it up. I tried to think of clever ways to make it easier, and this is like the easiest way that I've found to do it. So unless I find a quicker way, I think I'll stick with this. Can I get a quick recap of what this man does? Sure you can. So this is a zombie turtle that will body slam the player. So it jumps up into the air and body slams the player. Let me show you. So it doesn't have any animations yet, but it jumps up and then it comes down. Bang! Just like that. Bang! Pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically it. And now we're animating him. Neato, yeah, I think so. Thank you to everyone in the chat who helped me draw this little guy. I think he turned out pretty good. I think he turned out pretty good. All right. So yeah. I want him to go up, stay hovering up a little bit, and then come down. So give him like a quick little slide back. So yeah, see how you can mess with the timings here, and now all of a sudden it looks like he's hobbling or something, right? It looks like he's kind of limping along, and all I did was shift around these keyframes a little bit. And then I can give him a little bit of scale as well. So I think maybe... I'm going to reverse these. So there we go. Got a really basic animation. And I might even change this position to go up higher. We can see how that looks in game. Sometimes too, when you're dealing with small pixel sizes, an animation can look really bad in the animation player in the editor, and then look actually pretty decent in game because of the pixelation that's applied. Wow, this man's going insane. Look at that. So maybe the animation is a little bit quick, and maybe he's a little bit quick actually. Let's turn down his max speed to like 80, and the acceleration coefficient we can make like 12 or something. Boom. Should we make these guys' range global, do you think? Like, should they be able to jump at you from wherever on the map? I think that'd be good. They're like mortars coming in. We could optionally also give them a bullet attack as well. Maybe emit bullets when they land like somebody else suggested. What is my preferred method of travel? You mean like in real life? If that's the question, my preferred method of travel, well, definitely by car, preferably my own car, with me behind the wheel. I'm questioning if I'm misunderstanding the question or if it's really just like a random question. I guess it is a random question. Bullet ring might be nice. Yeah, that could be cool. Squash might be a bit much. It might be. I'm going to keep this walk animation the way that it is right now. I'm going to try implementing the other animations and just so we can get a bigger picture. So the jump. Nope, that's the question. All right. All right, we got 2 votes for bullet ring. Okay, we could do a bullet ring. That would be cool. Let's see. So we want to create a jump animation now. And I'm going to go just like super extreme on this. So again, this is going to probably look goofy in the editor, but trust me. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just doing a little bounce here. So what I've done is I've got initial squash for the jump, then up, snap really quick, and then bounce back a little bit, right? So you get kind of like a really bouncy. So that's really simple. Don't be afraid to go really extreme with the scale, because again, in the editor, it looks weird, but in game, it's going to look just fine. And then what you typically do is for like a bounce, right? You squash a lot, and then you stretch a lot. And then I like to go back to sort of like a semi-bounce. So this is 1.1 in the X and 0.9 in the Y. And then over the next longer period of time, gradually settle back into a 1 scale, 1-to-1. And that creates like a little snap back that adds a little bit of juiciness to that animation. Ends up looking really good. And then let's see what it looks like in game if I can implement it here. So, enter state body slam. So we actually want probably like a jump preparation state. So add states, state jump, enter state jump. Enter state jump. State jump. There we go. Animation player dot play jump. All right, let's see where we go. Random question. What's the reason behind a skeleton dude? Skeletons are cool. That's the reason. That's it. Not symbolic. I'm a kind of person that's like, if there's a necromancer in a game, that's the only class that I play is necromancers. If they're, it's not like I only play necromancer games, but if there's a game with a necromancer class, you can be guaranteed that's the only class I'm playing. What kind of phone do I have? I have a Pixel 6a. Are you trying to like hack into me? Trying to find some personal details so you can compromise my devices? Maybe change the bullet sprite to look like debris from the ground. That's an interesting one. All right, TC, thanks for hanging around. Appreciate it. We'll see if I do another stream. I have a lot of free time this weekend, so that's why I'm doing a lot of streams. Why not at the chat, ask the chat a random question? I don't know of a random question to ask. These random questions are sounding more and more like people trying to figure out security questions. Yeah, see? That's what I just said. Personally don't like summoner types. It's not for everyone. What's your last name and mother's maiden name for reasons? Yeah. That's funny. Okay, so in the state jump, if animation player... If not animation player is playing, so we'll just play something at the end of it. State machine, change state to state body slam. Let's see if that works. And actually, that might not work, so... Oops. And it didn't work because I didn't change into state jump here. This is going to look really awkward, I think, because... Yeah, because this thing actually needs to go into the jump at this point in the animation, not at this point. So that complicates things a little bit. So we'll create a boolean called doJump. Private void set doJump. Bool doJump. Okay, so in our enter state jump, I'm going to say do jump equals false. And then if do jump and then in here, we're going to build this, and I'm going to create a call method track right here. Set do jump to true. And so that will look a little bit more natural, I think. Yeah, I might even set it just a little bit before that as well. Okay, getting there. Okay, and then when we enter state normal, we want to play the animation player dot play walk. Absolutely love, let's see. Wait, let's see. Healers are where it's at. Necromancers are healers in a very specific way. That is true. Yeah, that's a good one. Mind blown. Absolutely love your juicy animations. Thank you. I'd love to see a tutorial or something. Yeah, I've gotten that a few times. Yeah, it's just a matter of finding the time. As most of you know, I'm a little pressed for time these days, so I'll have to... It's on my list of things, tutorials to do. Yes, Joshua, I do. I am using Navigation Region 2D and Navigation Agent 2D, and I do have avoidance enabled, and it's working pretty good. The nav seems smooth compared to what I've seen elsewhere. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's not anything super complicated. Updated Udemy course. Yeah, I want to do another Udemy course, hopefully soon. Okay, what are we doing? So everything's looking better. Did I lose, Okay, never mind. I thought it looked like the stream might be dying, but it's not. I think it's fine. Okay, so what now? What now? Let me do something real quick. Before I keep going, I am getting hungry, so I'm going to order some food and then keep working while it's on the way to me. I gotta eat. Okay, sorry for the delay. I'm just gonna real quick do this. Okay, done. It blipped, but I'm good. Okay. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Let's see. We're back. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Do you plan on doing a Udemy course for Godot for C#? Probably not C#, because it's just, you have to consider it's like a marketing thing, right? There's going to be more people that are going to want to do GD script than C#. So if I want to maximize course sales, that's me being greedy, not doing C#. But it is something that seems to be in demand, so maybe I can incorporate C# stuff into whatever Udemy course that I do. Random question, what's my favorite food? I don't know. Probably steak. Probably steak, yeah. Return of the random questions. $1 dono for each Udemy request. Or 1 cent dono. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people want it, so obviously I'm leaving money on the table by not making a Udemy course, so probably something that I should prioritize soon. Okay. What am I doing? So we need to update the facing direction as well. So state normal. So let's grab that facing component. Let's just my target position is going to be target position. So this is basically just scales the entity in the way that it needs to be scaled based on which direction it's heading towards. So now we should see the thing flipping around when I spawn it. There we go. So you can see how it's flipping between both directions there. And I'll probably want to do that here when I enter the state body slam. I'm probably going to want to call that facing component update slam destination. Okay, looking good. We probably need some kind of animation for him being in the air. And I'm wondering if we could just make him like just kind of rotate really quick, you know? Like, I wonder if I can get away with this being just really really lazy. Oh, well, that's not gonna work. Well, I'm curious to see what that looks like. I'm not going to keep it like this. I just want to see. I just want to see what it looks like. It's going to look ridiculous, I'm sure. Bang! Actually, what I probably want to do is I want to probably call Q. That's kind of ridiculous. I kind of feel like if I just center that sprite, that would actually be really cool. Honestly, I kind of like it just being immediate play. It cuts off some of the other animation, but I think it's probably fine. It's perfect, never change it, yeah. Let's see. Perfect falling animation. It's nice coming into the chat knowing nothing about Godot or programming and still have a nice convo. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Admittedly, it does... it does reduce my productivity a little bit because I want to interact with the chat, but I actually enjoy that. I really do. It and in some ways it makes me more productive because I spend more chunks of time working on the game, more contiguous chunks of time. So I really appreciate you all being here and participating. It's really fun. Do you have a script that generates shadows beneath enemies and players, or are they drawn in? I have a component that does that. So if I do my shadow component here, you can see that there's a little drawing here. And basically at runtime, what happens is that these all get added to the shadow back buffer, which is just a canvas group in Godot 4. All the shadows end up there, so they all get drawn as like one sprite, and then I can control the opacity all as one block. But yeah, it's just a component, so you could look right here, shadow component. It's just a component I can slap here, and I can change the radius if I want, so I could give them a really big shadow. It's totally configurable. Joshua, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. This is how much I owe you for upgrading to Godot 4 C# video a little bit ago. Basically took care of my own upgrade process. Excellent. Really glad to hear that. Love your work. Random question, is the skeleton a self-portrait? It kind of is, actually. I am abnormally thin. So I basically identify strongly with skeletons. I think the poor guy will be dizzy before the slam. No wonder his aim is off. Yeah. 100% accurate self-portrait, yeah. Yes, Cheesem, yeah, we're gonna see what we can do about this this center point here. because I already built the animations with the origin here, and so I'm just trying to figure out what can I do to fix that. But thank you again, Joshua. Really appreciate that super chat. Really great. We're talking to the first streaming skeleton. Yeah. I mean, we're all skeletons if you think about it. I mean, we're more than skeletons, but the skeletons are a part of us. All right, let's see what we can get done here in the 30 or so minutes it's going to take for my food to get here. So let's grind this out. So I think what I could do is I could redo the animations anywhere that position is changed. Well, actually, I do want the pivot offset to be at the feet for the walk animation because that gives it kind of like a different rotation feel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new node 2D, and we're going to call this one like the rotation root or something. And then I'm going to drag this sprite 2D underneath it. And so that animation will continue working. But when we do our body slam, we're going to get rid of that. And then I can take this rotation root and, oh wait, is this going to work? Wait, did I do something stupid? There was a reason why I thought adding another node here was going to work. Oh, maybe I should call this animation root, and maybe I should change these animations to operate on the animation root. Yeah, maybe that's what I need to do. So let's change these to all be keyed against the animation root. Because then I can put the origin in the center of the sprite node itself, and I can rotate that. And just like that, all of the animation tracks have been changed over to a different node. And now with this sprite, I can basically do it however I want here. Oops. And I can take this position now and scoot it up. There we go. So now when I do this, just like that. See, now it's all centered, and I believe the animation and the jump should still work just fine. Perfect. All right, let's see how that looks in game. Excellent. I think one thing that I do want to do though is we want to play the reset animation and then cue the body slam. Nice. I think that's pretty good. I might extend the animation just a little bit. It looks a little bit too quick. Let's see. Skeletons wearing meat suits. Yep. Obviously, the first undead to stream had to be a programmer. Yeah, I believe that. You could try setting the anchor point to the center. I think we took care of that, yeah. Piloted by nerve jellyfish. Ew. That's That's disturbing to think about. Could you decelerate, call decelerate when the zombie hits the ground to emulate a now concussed state? Yeah, so that is something that I want to do. I'm going to do a landed state that's going to like shake the screen and also just do like a very brief pause for the entity. So like a concussed state. Exactly. That's what we're going to do. Looks surprisingly good. Awesome. That's amazing. Yeah. So you can see you can get away with a lot of stuff when you're doing like a low resolution canvas. It might not look great in the editor, but once you put it in game, it's like, actually, that doesn't look bad. So yeah, you can get away with a lot. Oh, that's not good. No, don't pay attention to that. That'll be easy to fix. It's just a matter of playing that reset animation, I think. I think what I'll do is I'll just say animation player dot stop, and that should reset it for me. And I think I can actually just do that here. Maybe. Anyway, let's add that landed state. So state machine dot add states state land. I'll just call it state land. Enter state land. So watch this. Private void enter state land. Game camera dot shake 0.75. So that's going to add our camera shake. Then do we want to do an animation for the landed state, perhaps? So let's see, position. Do we want to do position? Yeah. Position, rotation. And we probably want to do scale, honestly. Let's do this. And again, we're going to go ridiculous with the scale here. Go back up to 0.9 and 1.1. Then over here, set this back to 1. I think I need another one in here. Sorry. Let's see. 1.3.8. And then here. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just doing the same thing where I'm just bouncing it back and forth a little bit. So just like that, and then maybe we'll just make this animation 1 second long. And then you'll see what I'm doing here. So yeah, so shake them back and forth, right? So land. And honestly, this probably can just be playing the whole time. So let's zoom out a little bit. Much better. There we go. Maybe we'll turn it down to 0.8. So there you go. So he'll land, he'll do this, and then he'll be ready to go again. I might even chop down that one. All right, let's see. Is Godot 4 really good for C#? I think so. Yeah, so use C# if you like architecting your code, like having a little bit more of structure, being able to apply like patterns that are kind of dependent, I guess. That's not the right word. Patterns that are easier implemented with typed languages and classical like inheritance and abstract classes and interfaces. If that allows you to build better code, then I would go for C#. If you don't care so much about that, GDScript is more than capable. The only thing I don't like is how resources are still not registered automatically. Yeah, that is a pain for sure. Leonard, rotation degrees is back in the beta. Could use that so you can actually set the number of rotations. Yeah, I did. So I set it to 360 degrees here, rotation. It's still degrees in the animation player, so no worries about that. I'm going to head out now. Maybe I'll check back in a bit. Thanks for the awesome stream. You're welcome, Cheesem. Thanks for hanging out. Floating turtle reminded me of a ghost. Maybe a ghost enemy could be cool. Yeah. Could float and have an ice effect on the screen. That is interesting. It could also float over terrain, maybe, so like float over gaps and stuff that typically things have to run around. We all have the skeleton component. True. Chef Ghost. Wow. Yeah. Hello, J0. Glad to see you as well. If you're into scope creep, a black powder slime or something that draws a line of powder on the ground and periodically immolates to light or explode the path would be challenging. That is an interesting idea. Yeah. That does introduce quite a bit of scope, but it is a very cool idea. Yeah, exactly, Leonard. The animation ended early, and that's why he was like rotated 90 degrees. Because the amount of time, I guess it's just not synced perfectly, so, but that can be handled with just using some strategic animation resets and all that. Okay, so when we enter the state land, animation player dot play land, private void state land, we'll call decelerate. So that he stops moving. Actually, we should probably just set the velocity component velocity to 0. So we'll set the velocity to 0 when he lands so that there's no residual velocity from the jump. And then we don't need this decelerate then. If not animation player dot is playing, then what we can do is we can say state machine dot change state normal. Even with all these tricks and saving time on animations and everything, these enemies are still take a while to develop. I'm still getting that error. And I'm also not changing to the land state. And honestly, all of this probably should be changed to the state land. Since that is technically the start of a new state. Okay, let's see how that looks. Still not resetting the animation properly. But that looks like a perfect amount of... Actually, I'm curious. If I call stop, is that going to work? I don't know if stop resets the animation or not. We'll see. Apparently not. So we'll call play reset and then Q land. It's lagging a little bit because there's an error that gets thrown. I don't think the screen shake is big enough either. So we'll change the screen shake to 1. Yeah, I think that looks fine. So we just got to figure out what to do about that pesky shadow. Maybe modify the walk animation a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. I think one other thing I need to do is stop the velocity when he enters the state. The jump state. So we want to decelerate him in the jump state. That looks pretty good. Awesome. Oh no, they're coming after me from all the way across the map. I might make that explosion a little bit faster as well. Let's see. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Life alert totem. That's funny. Cool. That's looking really good. Obviously, there's still a bunch of work to do, like the shadow component. I think maybe the easiest thing to do for now is to take that shadow component and I think I can just set it to invisible. Yeah. So I think what I can do is when I enter the state jump, if do jump, so state body slam. So when I enter the state body slam, I'm going to say shadow component dot visible equals false. And then when I exit state body slam, shadow component dot visible equals true. Let's see if that works. Spawn zombie. Yeah, that works. So the shadow goes away while he's in the air. And then comes back when he lands. I honestly don't know if I need to worry about like drawing the shadow at the right place on the ground. The reason is I can get away with a lot in this game because everything's so hectic and there's a lot happening on screen that you're not really going to notice if a shadow is not under the turtle, you know, the zombie turtle. The shadow's mostly just there for things that are on the ground so they don't look like they're floating. Might add a trail to him too, like a red trail or something, indicating that he's coming. Maybe. Could be cool. Let's see. Have a target acquisition range. I'm thinking about that. Either target acquisition or have it global. I don't know. They won't be able to reach you in the hub room, typically speaking, because they're not being spawned in the appropriate way, and so it's messing up the game logic. I'm just like spawning them in a debug way, and so it's not detecting that they're gone. Those arenas aren't going to be very big, and so I think global is probably going to be okay, but we'll have to see. So how does the state machine work? Passes a function as a parameter. Yeah, so let me show you. Open folder. Let's see. Let's open up Godot utilities. So it's called a delegate state machine, and what it does is it takes delegates, so public delegate void state, so any function that returns void and has no arguments is a valid state function. And then I call add states, which is just a function, which is like, what is my normal function? What's my enter state function? And what's my leave state function? And then that all gets added together into a state flows object. Anyway, those are details that aren't really important. But basically, yeah, they're just functions. And so when I call update, it says current state. If I have a current state, invoke it. And that will invoke the function that you've used. So instead of having like enums and like mapping the enums to functions, you can just use the functions directly as the state variable itself. And then when you call change state, it will decide whether it needs to call enter or leave states as well. So yeah, that's basically it. This code is available if you go to github.com/firebelly to Godot utilities. You can check this out yourself, and you could use it in your own games if you want. But I think it's really helpful just to use your functions as your state. It simplifies it quite a bit. And I can just go, oh, state normal, what's that? Click in, boom, here's my state definition. Very easy. Okay, what was I doing? There was something I was going to do. Did I don't remember. Maybe if you want to increase the difficult at one point, the enemy could shoot bullets when it lands too. Oh, that's right. I was going to do that. Did anything happen since you left? Got this zombie pretty much good to go. He's got a little land animation and some screen shake. No worries, Sag. Thanks so much for hanging out. The stream's going to end soon anyway, so don't feel bad. My food will be here in like 10 minutes, so... So yeah, I'm going to commit what I have. Let's see. Cool. All right. Let's see. Oh, thanks a lot. I was implementing a state pattern in GDScript, but the lack of OOP things, object-oriented principles, made me question if it wasn't easier to just use enums and functions, but this way is great. Yeah, I think so. I think it works really well. You said you want to try putting a trail on the zombie turtle. Oh yeah. Let's just do that real quick and see what it looks like. We'll make it... Should I make it part of the sprite? So I've got about 10 minutes till my food gets here, so let's throw this on and see what it looks like. Oh man, I like Lo-Fi Girl sometimes, but right now this music is a snooze fest. No offense. No offense to anyone that likes snooze fest music. Well, that's not exactly the color that I was going for. I guess the colors aren't really important right now, but... it's probably just going to be better with a normal red trail. Just wanted to try that, that's all. Okay. And so this is going to be really easy. We're just going to call it a sphere. Give it a radius of like 6, give it something like 20 particles, and then we're going to turn the lifetime down to like 0.2. And then we're going to change the angle anywhere from 0 to 360. Angular velocity anywhere from negative 180 to 180. And then we're going to turn off the interpolation and the fixed FPS. And then we're going to turn this to show behind parent. And I'm just going to leave that there. It needs to be toggled on and off, obviously, but we're just going to see what it looks like. Okay. Okay, I can kind of see it. I think this needs to have a scale curve here, and probably also needs to have some variation in the scale itself. So let's create a new curve texture. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know, what do you think of the trail? Does that look any good? Whoops. Okay, of course I died. All right. How's that look? Trail or no trail? Should the trail be a different color? You like the trail. Did you abstract the X, Y, and Z components for the characters? Because even though it's a 2D game, it has X, Y, and Z components. I didn't do anything special for it. So Godot has built-in like Y sorting, which is really nice. So if I move up the screen, the draw order gets changed. So you can see I'm going behind this candelabra right now. But if I step in front of it, then I render in front of it, right? So Godot has that built in. And then for the stuff that looks like it's going up in the air, I just used simple parabolic motion. So you can look that up. I certainly can't explain it because it took me several hours just to figure out how to get it to work. But you can use the parabolic motion formulas to make something in this sort of top-down 2D way follow an arc to land perfectly at the point that you want it to land at. And that's what I'm using for the zombies here. So that's how I'm managing it. I didn't do anything beyond those two things. So the Y sorting for drawing things in the correct order, and then parabolic motion for things that have an arc to them. Everything else, like these bullets, I'm just tricking the player into thinking that they're elevated by putting a shadow beneath them, but they're just 2D objects that just move along as normal 2D objects would. So, hope that answers your question. Maybe 0.2 seconds of lifetime. I believe I am at 2.2 seconds of lifetime. Yeah, right here. Maybe underneath his legs. Smoke, green trail. Everyone likes the trail. So let me try. I wanted to use red because that's like the language that the game is using to communicate to the player that it's an enemy attack. And so I'm not so sure that I want to stray from using that. Do you know what I mean? But let's try a green. Maybe we'll use this color. That green might be too dark. What is going on? The green kind of looks good. I don't know, what do you all think? Green or red? They're green kind of, I think it looks pretty good actually. Okay, 1 second. All right, my food is here, but I'm going to try one more thing here. I'm going to keep this green, and I'm going to make the particles actually bigger. Feel like the green blends in too much. Maybe raise the brightness of it and try that. So what do you guys think about the thicker green trail? Let me spawn some more zombies. The other option is I could apply like an outline to the particles themselves. And you have to imagine that the particle would only be emitting while he's in the air. What do you think of that? Is the green still blending too much? Let's see. We enjoy the thickness. Let's see. Okay, how do you get better at pixel art? Okay, 1 second here. Let's take a look at these. Godot has natural abstraction built into nodes, so when you're using a node 2D or any of its inheriting nodes, the Z is removed and you don't have to think about it. Yes, that's true. Yeah, thank you for adding that as well. Green looks better, but it should show more. So yeah, we got the thicker with the green. I think that's good. Yes to thick. Yeah. Color variations in the trail. Yeah, I can definitely play around with that for sure. Okay, I'll keep that trail green and I'll play around with it some more later. But before I leave, I want to answer your question, Glitch 6, which is how do you get better at pixel art? Yeah, see, I don't want to do a tutorial on pixel art because I don't actually consider myself that great at pixel art. Obviously, I'm good enough for people to ask, how do I get better at it? But I just don't, there are plenty of pixel artist YouTubers who are far better than me, who have done this for a long time, who I learned from. So, yeah, so my advice for getting better at pixel art, firstly, go and watch YouTubers' pixel art tutorials. There's a lot of them, and a lot of them are really good. But if you want some practical tips on how to get better, here's my advice, and I think many people have heard this. So, first of all, start with a limited color palette, I would actually recommend start with a 1-bit color palette. Start with black and white and just practice drawing things in black and white. And we know that black and white pixel art can look really good because it's been done many, many, many times, right? So by removing all of your color options, you actually are forced to focus on actually representing the object that you're trying to draw with pixels. So try doing a bunch of art in just 1-bit style until you're happy with how it's looking in terms of the shape and the line work and all that stuff. Then move on to using a limited color palette of like 8 or 16 colors or something like that, and then do the same thing. Then when you get ready to start using your own colors, which I'm not actually doing, I'm using a palette, but when you're using your own colors, one thing that's super, super helpful is when you're shading. If I have a red ball and I want to shade it so that it has shadow, a lot of people are tempted to just take this color, right? This, and just take and turn the darkness down or turn the lightness down. Whoops. Like just turn the value down and then be like, okay, I'm just going to use a darker version of that same color. And then they'll shade like that. And that looks okay, but it ends up making the art look really bland. And so now this shading is not going to look good while I'm talking about it. But anyway, you get the deal. And so that's going to look really bland, right? But what you can do, actually, is you take this red color and you hue shift it toward purple and then darken it. And look at that. Even though this color is purple now, it actually looks a lot more vibrant and it looks like it pops a lot more. So don't be afraid to use technically different colors when you're doing shading and highlights. And it's the same deal for highlighting, right? If I wanted to do a highlight, I could actually use yellow here. And yeah, this shading sucks, but I'm just doing it really quickly. So you could use yellow if you wanted, and that would work probably fine. But anyway, this is terrible. But yeah, so don't be afraid to use contrasting colors, different colors when you're shading, and also practice drawing things with a limited color palette. Those are the two best ways that I found personally to get better at pixel art really quick. And also it takes a lot of work, so don't get discouraged. It's going to be difficult. It's going to take a lot of effort, but when it's done, or when you get better, you're going to love it. Hope that helps. You're welcome. Yeah, but definitely go and look at pixel art YouTubers for sure and watch what they have to say too. Maybe just link resources for people to follow. Yeah, I should probably collect a bunch of resources. I know a lot of people hear that shtick a lot, but it doesn't hurt to repeat it. I could put together some kind of document though. That would probably be a good idea. Thick turtle enemies are going to bring in a specific audience. Oh boy. Should I pick a color palette? I would recommend it if you're new to pixel art. Picking a palette is probably one of the best things you can do, because then it removes that chaos or that well, think about it. There's what, like 16 million RGB colors that you can pick. When you limit yourself to 8, it removes all options, right? Your art, it's very easy to convince yourself that your art doesn't look good because you picked the wrong colors, which is true sometimes. But if you're limited to 8 colors to begin with, well, then you're not picking the colors, right? Limitations, the paradoxical thing is like limitations actually breed creativity. So adopt constraints voluntarily, and you'll be surprised at how that forces you to think outside the box when you have limited options. Adobe Color Picker to make your own palettes. Yeah, true. Take your time. Yes. Spearmint to make your own color palette. I don't know what the best way of making your own color palette is. I haven't done that yet. Maybe make some kind of bestiary like in Spelunky. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Stick with pre-made stuff. Yeah, I would recommend sticking with pre-made stuff as well. Free assets is also a great option as well. The other thing that's important to do is study pixel art, right? And what I mean by study is like look at the pixel art and actually like take a mental note of What colors are they using? How are they achieving their shading, right? What are they using to represent the shapes of things? If you take some pixel art characters from popular games and you zoom in on them a lot, you'll see that like there will be like one pixel that makes an entire difference in how the art feels and looks. And so study it, try to understand how they're accomplishing the goal of representing what they're representing, you know? If somebody makes a zombie turtle, ask yourself, what about this zombie turtle makes me know it's a zombie turtle, right? And then my recommendation is to get your own YouTube chat that can help you with all your art. I'm kidding. Yeah, Dragon. So yeah, just if you choose a color palette, you'll have to start with a small canvas is a great suggestion as well too, or as well. Dragon, yeah, so you want to, if you're using a pre-made color palette, you'll just have to choose, highlight colors will generally be obviously brighter, but also shifted toward yellow, hue shifted toward yellow, and dark colors will be shifted toward like purple. Cool. All right, well, my food is here, so I am going to go ahead and eat that. That was a long stream, 3.5 hours. So thank you all for joining the stream and watching me and helping me. Really appreciated it. Check out the pinned chat to go wishlist Gunforged. I would really appreciate it if you could do that. So go to the Steam page, wishlist it now. It will hopefully be out within the next 6 months. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, warm colors are more associated with light and cold colors are more associated with shadow. That's correct. Yeah, that's the idea behind hue shifting. All right, you're welcome everyone, and thank you again. And I will see you all in the next stream or video, whatever comes first. All right, bye-bye everyone.